Since 1995, Listen has been providing its customers with a state-of-the-art solution for performing audio measurements. While celebrating its 20th year in business, Listen is proud to announce the release of the latest version of its industry-leading measurement software, SoundCheck 14. This video will provide an overview of all the new features included in SoundCheck 14, so whether you are interested in upgrading from a previous version or looking at the system for the first time, you'll get a look at what the latest version has to offer. Over the past few years, Listen has created several new hardware products that complement the SoundCheck software system. These include Amp Connect, Sound Connect 2, and more. Many of these products feature USB communication for control and for some devices the audio interface as well. One of the objectives in SoundCheck 14 is to make the initial setup and use of these hardware products as seamless as possible in the software and with very little user interaction required. For example, anytime a Listen hardware product with USB control is connected to the system, SoundCheck will automatically add it to the hardware editor and configure it for use. A simple window appears notifying that the device has been detected. Once the device has been added to the hardware editor, it can be controlled via message steps, both offline as well as in a sequence. In the hardware editor, a startup default can be assigned to each device. A startup default is a configuration message that is sent to the device when SoundCheck is opened. This option is helpful for users that don't change their hardware settings often and to ensure that the hardware is always in a known state at startup. On the audio page of the hardware editor is a new feature called Auto Mode. When enabled, Auto Mode continually scans the system for Listen audio interfaces such as Amp Connect and Audio Connect. When detected, these devices are automatically assigned to the default hardware channels. These channels are populated with the correct settings for the product type, and for newer audio interfaces, the calibrated values are even read directly from the device itself. If you wish to modify or enter settings manually, or if using non-Listen audio interfaces, simply disable the Auto Mode. After making changes, Auto Mode can be re-enabled at any time and will continue to monitor for recognized Listen audio interfaces. Auto Mode is enabled by default when SoundCheck is installed. This means that customers using Listen audio interfaces will not have to open the hardware editor, as their devices will be simply configured automatically the first time SoundCheck is opened. In order to accommodate the Listen hardware integration features, and to provide a simpler user interface, the hardware editor has been completely redone from the ground up. The new editor is separated into 3 pages, each with its own table. The first page is audio, where all audio interface channels are maintained and configured. The appearance is similar to the table view in previous versions of SoundCheck, but offers several new features. One such feature is the ability to edit multiple hardware channels simultaneously. Simply Control or Shift-click to select multiple channels. Then change the desired parameter, such as sampling rate. All of the selected channels change accordingly. Similarly, when multiple channels are selected, the right-click menu offers the option to duplicate or delete channels as well. Calibrating hardware channels has also been simplified. Right-click on a channel and choose the Calibrate Using option. Select the corresponding input or output that you would like to use, and the calibration routine begins. Next is a page for Listen hardware. As shown earlier, Listen hardware is automatically detected by SoundCheck. Once detected, the device is assigned an ID and is added to this table. If a previously detected device is disconnected, it remains in the table but appears with a gray background. Once the device is reconnected, it will be assigned its original device ID and will be available for USB control. The Listen hardware page is also where the optional startup default is assigned. The Digital I/O and Interface tabs from the old hardware editor have been consolidated into a single page in the new editor called External. The table at the top of the page is used to configure digital I/O cards like the NI6503. The table at the bottom of the page is used to configure RS-232 and GPIB interfaces, as well as foot switches. In SoundCheck's calibration editor, the sensitivity of an input device like a reference microphone has traditionally been a combination of the transducer's sensitivity and the gain of the preamp. For SoundCheck 14, the gain component has been separated, allowing the sensitivity to be that of the transducer itself. With the gain being tracked separately, it can easily be modified as needed to maximize signal-to-noise ratio without having to recalibrate the microphone. Some of Listen's hardware products have both microphone preamps as well as USB connectivity. This includes Amp Connect, Sound Connect 2, and Audio Connect. This provides the option for SoundCheck to automatically read and update the gain in the calibration editor. That way, as the gain is changed to suit various test configurations, it is continually tracked in calibration with no user input required. In the example shown here, a simple measurement is being performed with the virtual instruments. As the gain of the Amp Connect preamp is adjusted, the calibration editor is tracking the changes and applying the updates. The result is that the multimeter is always accounting for the current gain setting and is showing the calibrated level. The ability to read and set preamp gain in Listen hardware has allowed the creation of a new auto-ranging feature. As part of an acquisition step, auto-ranging looks at the maximum level coming into the audio interface and determines whether or not it can optimize the signal-to-noise ratio of the measurement by increasing the preamp gain. If so, the gain is modified and the acquisition is repeated. Auto-ranging will also decrease the preamp gain in the event that the interface input is saturated. To use the auto-ranging feature, first enable the read function for gain in calibration. Then in the acquisition step, the auto-ranging function will be available. During the sequence execution, the acquisition step will run once, check the input level, modify the gain if necessary, and rerun the acquisition if a change has been made. The resulting waveform output from the step will be the final optimized version. This feature is ideal for customers measuring a range of products with widely varying signal levels, ensuring that the measurement is never in the noise floor of the audio interface. The Setup Wizard was first introduced in SoundCheck 12 and served two main objectives. First was to simplify the configuration of the system and hardware for new SoundCheck users. Second was to streamline the process of importing settings and converting sequences from previous versions of SoundCheck. The new Setup Wizard in version 14 adheres to these same objectives, but provides a more user-friendly interface and a far more powerful tool for updating sequences. One significant addition to the interface is a menu on the left side of the screen. This allows you to navigate to the section of the wizard you would like to run at any time. First, however, a valid status.dat license file must be selected to unlock the system. Once that is completed, the other options become available. The Import Settings option allows you to choose a previous installation of SoundCheck on the system and import preferences, hardware, and calibration setups. This makes the process of upgrading to SoundCheck 14 very fast and efficient. The Convert Sequences option is a tool for updating your existing SoundCheck sequences to version 14. Right-click in the table to begin adding sequences to the list. You can select individual sequences from a folder. There is also an option to add an entire directory, including any sequences stored in subfolders. Once you have selected all the sequences you wish to update, choose a destination folder where you would like the new copies of the sequences to be stored. This operation can be run as many times as you like, and is always available via the Setup Wizard menu should you want to run it again in the future. Over the past several versions of SoundCheck, we have been continually adding more places where memory list variables can be used within a sequence. These variables add a dynamic capability to the sequence and allow SoundCheck customers to continually write more customized and powerful tests. The newest instance of memory list value capability is in the post-processing search range. The search range is available in several post-processing step types, including scalar, windowing, intersection, and more. The entire search range interface has been overhauled in version 14, making it easier to use. Simply check the search range box to enable it. Then right-click to add a new range or single value. Enter the desired x-axis parameters and click OK. The new range appears in the table. This process can be repeated to enter multiple search ranges or single values. To use a memory list value, repeat the same procedure, but this time right-click on the numeric entry and choose Memory List Selection. You can then choose your variable from the memory list and select the appropriate axis. And finally, we are proud to announce that SoundCheck 14 will be the first version to run natively on the Mac operating system. The interface will be nearly identical to SoundCheck on Windows, making it very easy to switch over if you choose. Sequences and data files are also cross-compatible, meaning that SoundCheck users can collaborate even on different operating systems. Customers with a SoundCheck 14 license are free to install both the Windows and Mac versions. While the Windows version is available now, the Mac version will be released in the third quarter of this year. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and for your interest in SoundCheck 14. If you have any questions about the product or are interested in upgrading an existing license, please contact sales@listeninc.com. You can also learn more about SoundCheck and all the Listen products at our website, www.listeninc.com.